Lowell head coach Pat Todd. Coach Todd, thanks for taking the time to talk with us a little bit about your team. Can you tell me a little bit, let's talk a little bit about last year. Best season Lowell ever had, got to the state finals, lost in a really tough game to a good team, Imbler, 88-76. Any reflections in that game, best season Lowell ever had?
You have a very good memory. That was a great year. We were healthy, so sometimes if you don't have a lot of depth, you got to be lucky, and we were. We had everybody the whole season, and went into that final game, and any of us would trade all those records and points scored for a championship, but we certainly give it everything we had. We hold our heads high, and we get ready for next year.
Now, it's a new season, 2014 coming up. How's your team looking so far in the early season practices? What do you expect for this year for your team?
Well, certainly practice very hard. We have excellent attendance. Everybody's bought in and committed and getting better every day. We've got 3 returning studs and 5 young sophomores that really need to develop. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go. But as far as effort, attitude, and working hard, we're doing all those things.
We had 2 scrimmages today so far here at the Jamboree. It's kind of like a glorified practice. What have you learned from your team so far at these 2 scrimmages?
Well, we're getting beat up front a little bit. We were worried about our guard spots, and those guys have to develop, and this is all part of that development process. And we're certainly not dominating and shoving people straight back like we did a year ago when the 2 guards that we lost were pretty elite. But overall, in the 2 scrimmages, we popped some big plays, and we've stuffed them defensively here and there. It hasn't been perfect, but it's been solid.
But tell us a little bit about 8-man football, how you practice. Maybe things are a little bit different with 8-man, plus some changes with the OSAA. I heard you yell at one of your kids, football's changed. You can't do that anymore. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the rule change with targeting. You can't hit anybody up, in the head, above the shoulders, and you can't use your head to hit anyone. Those have sort of always been rules, but now they're just going to emphasize them and call them constantly. And football is changing, and we're going to have to change if we want to keep coaching and keep playing, and that's fine with me. I can change. And what was the other part of that question?
How OSA rule changes and 8-man football.
8-man football. Everybody thinks 8-man's a lot different, but to me, I walked in and I looked at it. I coached freshman football for 17 years up at Sandy High School near Portland, and I just looked at it and I went, well, they're both the weak side. So my linebackers, I just teach them wheel reads. Our tackles are in one technique, just like they'd be on the weak side of an 11-man game. Our DNs are in a 5. Our DNs, we coach a little differently. They got to play to the sideline because they don't have a backer outside of them, so that changes a little bit. They got to be on their feet and defend to the sideline. Corners play all man. It's almost all man to man, and that's different. But as far as one technique linebackers, I haven't changed anything. I coach less. They're both the will. I only have to teach one thing to my linebackers.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your league and some of the games coming up. Next week, you start the season at Dufur. They're here tonight at the Jamboree. Then you host Camas Valley at home. 2 pretty tough games right there.
Oh, yeah, they're perennial powerhouses, both of them. We'll really have a measurement of what we can do. If we get walloped pretty bad, we'll know we got a lot of work to do. And if we can play even with those guys, we'll know we're right there in the top 4 because Dufur's certainly top 4. I'm sure Camas is top 8. So that'll be, we'll see how all that goes. I'm a little nervous.
I know you got one more game here at the Jamboree, and you're getting ready to do that. Let me get one more question before you go. Finish this sentence for me if you could. The Lowell Red Devils will have a successful 2014 season if
our kids do well in the classroom and treat their teachers and peers with respect, and we give it our best effort at all times and hold up our heads no matter what the outcome of the score.
Excellent. Okay, good luck. Thank you, Coach Pat Todd here of the Lowell Red Devils.
All right, thank you.